All right, I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to take a look at something we were looking at yesterday. Okay, we were looking at different types of angles. We were looking at obtuse angles, and that's where it's wider than it is for a piece of paper. So if I got a smaller piece of paper and I put it in here, and if it goes, you have to line it along one side, and then if it's wider, goes past that, it's an obtuse, a big, wide, obtuse angle. Use that deep voice. Then if you've got a piece of paper and it's inside of it, see how that red is inside where that piece of paper would be? It's a small little acute angle. You know, we thought say something's really cute when it's little. So if you remember that, it's a little acute angle. Then if it's lines up exactly with the piece of paper in the corner, it's a right angle. I'm going to show you something new today. When you see this, a lot of times they give you a hint. For obtuse and acute angles, they do like a curved line. I didn't do this yesterday, and I should have. But whenever they're showing a right angle, they make it look like it's a little square down there. So when you see a square, that's giving you a hint that it's a right angle. If you see these curved lines, then you have to decide, is it smaller than the right angle and it's a little acute angle? Or if it's bigger than the right angle, like a corner of a piece of paper, it's a big obtuse angle. Okay? That's reviewing what we did yesterday, but adding that if it has that looks like a square, it's giving you a hint that that's a right angle. And some of you might see that on your work today. Now, we're going to look at a little bit more detail of things that make up an angle. We have to have sides, but when they show it as a ray. A ray has an end point where it's like a circle, and a ray means it has an arrow that it would keep on going in that direction. It stops and starts here. It doesn't go past it, but here it keeps on going. And we're only looking at angles, okay? So we'll need to know that a ray goes in one direction forever, but it has an end point on one end. And then when you put two rays together at the same end point, that point where they come together is called the vertex. Now, we've had trouble figuring out what a vertex is, but that's where two rays or two sides come together at their end point. And the angle is what is on the inside of those rays where they come together. And then when you put more rays together, you make shapes, but we're looking at the angle parts today. And I've put a right angle in here because I've got that square, but I can check myself and see with a piece of paper, do those lines line up right beside that? And they do. So that is a right angle. Then over here, I've done this one. Let me slide this down. And so notice I did the curved line. So that tells me that is not a right angle. But it's either those other two that we talked about earlier, obtuse or acute. Can somebody tell me what do I need to put in there to say what kind of angle this one is? Remember, if I were to put a piece of paper in there and line it along one of the sides, that one goes past what a right angle would be. So what kind of angle do I need to label this one?
Obtuse.
Obtuse. It's a big, wide, obtuse angle. Okay. Now how about this one right here? I need to label this one. So if I line this at that vertex along one of the rays, I'm going to kind of trace where it is. I can kind of see through this paper. It's not a right angle because it doesn't line up and doesn't go on the outside. It goes inside of what a right angle would be. So what kind of angle is this one then?
An acute angle.
It's a little bitty acute angle. There we go. All right, these are important to know. All right. Okay. All right. So now we're going to take a look at, got my little shapes right here. Can someone tell me what the name of this shape is? Just go ahead and say it.
Quadrilateral.
It's a quadrilateral. What else can we say it is?
Square.
It's also a square. What else? Remember we talked about this yesterday in the lesson. It could be also called a,
Rectangle.
it's a rectangle too. It's a special rectangle. What else?
Parallelogram.
It can also be called a parallelogram. And then there's another one. Rhymes with bus.
Rhombus.
It can also be a rhombus. This one shape can be labeled all those. A square is a special shape. What's the name of this shape?
Polygon.
It is a polygon, but what special? All the shapes are polygons, but what special name for this one is it?
Well, it's a rectangle.
No, not a rectangle.
A triangle.
Triangle. There we go. Can anybody tell me what the name of that one is?
A trapezoid.
Trapezoid. How about
Triangle.
this blue? What about this blue one right here?
Square.
No, it's not a square. That's what a square looks like.
A rhombus.
A rhombus. Can it also be
A rhombus.
parallelogram? Is it a parallelogram as well?
Yes.
Yes, it can be also called a parallelogram. Now remember to put yourself on mute unless you're talking at that moment. Okay, let me slide these up. What about this one? What's the name of it?
Heptagon.
A hexagon. Good job. Now I have to do one where I draw it because I don't have the shape with these blocks. What's the name of that one?
Pentagon.
Pentagon. It's got 5 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pentagon. Okay. The reason I went over these is now I'm going to go to something online. And we're going to take a look at, oh, before I go, I want to show you this. Remember we talked about where you could compose or decompose? Let's say I had these two shapes and I'm going to compose a new shape if I put them together. What shape did I make when I put them together?
Triangle. Triangle.
I just made a larger triangle than what I started out with. Okay, so that's composing where I put them together. But if I take them apart, that's decomposing. Okay, I want to show you that real quick. So now I'm going to see if this, ooh, hey, I've got all kinds of cameras around here. Hey, I'll have to go to this and go back into the computer screen.
Miss Nether, you're glitching.
I'm sorry if I am. Am I glitching for everybody else?
Yes. You were. Yes. You are not.
I'm not now?
Yes.
All right. It's just something I can't help. I'm sorry about that. If it keeps on going, the recording part shouldn't glitch. So if you miss on something, you could watch the recording later and it should be okay. All right. All right. So we're going to watch. Are you seeing my, where it shows YouTube? Are you seeing that right now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. We're going to watch a little video about parallel, perpendicular, and intersecting lines. We talked about that yesterday. This is a little song to help us remember. Oh, wait 1 second. I got to stop the share. I forgot to do something to where you can hear it. I got to share the sound, and I didn't do that. Now, here we go.
You'll find lines that are perpendicular on a rectangle's perimeter. Or let's break it down even simpler. They make right angles in particular.
Parallel lines never meet. Intersecting lines make V's. Perpendicular lines meet at 90 degrees. Put your hands in the air with me. Parallel, intersecting, perpendicular, they're rectangular.
Now let's talk about detecting if two lines are intersecting. It's the term that we select if at any point two lines connect.
Parallel lines never meet. Intersecting lines make V's. Perpendicular lines meet at 90 degrees. Put your hands in the air with me. Parallel, intersecting, perpendicular, they're rectangular.
When two lines will never touch, then you can tell that those two lines are parallel. Like these telephone wires up above the street. Parallel lines will never meet.
Parallel lines never meet. Intersecting lines make V's. Perpendicular lines meet at 90 degrees. Put your hands in the air with me. Parallel, intersecting, perpendicular, they're rectangular.
All right, guys. So that is.
I absolutely
I
love
don't want an ad. Let me close her down. I'll just go do this. All right. So we were looking at those types of lines, and we actually did some of those motions that the robot did in that video. And we'll take a look at that again in a second. But right here, I'm going to look at this geoboard. Now, geoboard, if we had one, it's got like little pegs that stick up, and you use rubber bands, you put them on, and you can make shapes. Has anyone ever used a geoboard before at school?
Me. Yeah.
Okay, so you know what this is, but this is one I can use online. So I'm going to take rubber band. Figure out, there we go. Let's go up high. Okay, what shape did I make right there?
Square.
Okay, now looking at the square, what kind of angle is in every corner of a square?
A right angle.
A right angle. Remember, squares are right angles. So I can put a piece of paper right in there, and they line up right along the sides of the piece of paper. Okay, watch this.
A rectangle.
I'm going to go all the way. It's a rectangle. What kind of angles does a rectangle have?
Right angles.
They're all right angles in this.
Right.
That's correct. Now, let me try something.
Triangle.
Triangle. Now, if I was to draw like, I can't draw it on this. I don't think there's a drawing tool. Maybe there is. Let me try it out. Ooh, yes, there is. I'm learning this as I go. What kind of angles are all these? Think about if I put a piece of...
Acute.
These are all acute angles.
Acute.
Most of the time. Well, I think all the time in most triangles, you're going to have acute angles. But there might be times that's different. Let me erase this. Oh, I like this. I could share this with you and you could practice it too. All right, so let me go back where I'm making this. I'm going to change this triangle a little bit. Yeah, look at this. Is this still a triangle?
Yes.
It's still a triangle. It's got 3 sides, 3 angles, okay, and 3 vertices. Vertex or a vertice is the point. You're seeing the points on the geometry. Now, let me draw in for the angles. Now, this looks real close to being a right angle, but if I was to put a piece of paper on there, the other side would go like this. So let's look at this angle right here. Is this, what type of angle do we have here? Acute, obtuse, or right?
Acute.
It's a little acute one because, you know, if I put a piece of paper and line it on that line, the other side would go up like that. What about this one? Let me change my color. And I'm going to try to draw what a piece of paper would look like if I put it in the corner. So I've got my side right here. And then the other side will go up here. Sorry about the curve right there. But this, if this is a piece of paper and this is a right angle right here, is this one smaller than the right angle or bigger than the right angle?
Bigger.
It's bigger. So what word do we use for the bigger angle?
Obtuse.
Obtuse. So that was an obtuse angle. Okay, let's look at this one right here. If I draw the corner of a piece of paper, went off the line. Does that one go past it or is it inside the right angle? It's inside the right angle. So what would we name this angle right here? Obtuse, acute, or right? Is it a little acute angle, a big, wide, obtuse angle, or is it exactly lined up with this right here?
A big
The
angle.
big, and what the word means for the big one?
Obtuse.
Obtuse. That's a big obtuse angle. Okay. Let's see. I want to erase erase everything. Clear everything. There we go. And I want this to go away. And what do I do if I want to take the rubber bands away? There we go. Okay, let's do blue for the next one. Start it right here. And then I'm going to do another blue one. See if it'll let me do that. Instead of doing shapes, I'm going to draw the angles. Oh, I want to draw. I'm going to draw the rays. Like these are supposed to be the arrows for rays. What do we call this right here again on rays?
Angle?
Nope, it's an angle on the inside, but here where they meet, the ends where they meet. I'll give you a hint when I said ends. This is called the end point, okay? What do you call this where you have an end point and it goes this line and it has the arrow that would keep on going and going and going that way and keep on going and going that way? What do you call that line?
Right angle.
The angle's that, but just this one side right here. This one line with an arrow. What do you call that? Begins with an R. Called a ray. Everybody say ray.
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 Good job. Now, I'm going to change the color, maybe. I didn't do eraser. Maybe I did. Here we go. Now, this is the angle inside. What kind of angle is this one? Could I put a piece of paper in the corner and it match up with the blue lines?
Yes.
If it does, it's a what kind of angle? It's not a wrong angle, it's a
Right.
right angle, okay? Now, I'm gonna close this down and let me use red. Ooh, I don't want that one to be done. There we go. Look at those red lines. What kind of lines would you say those are? We had it in that video we just watched. Parallel,
Parallel.
perpendicular,
Parallel.
they're parallel. They would never cross. Like a railroad track or a road. They'd never cross over. All right. Let me see if I can take this stuff away. Okay. Now, let's see. I've not used green yet.
Miss Nethery,
Yes.
your screen's black.
Okay. It just has to do with where your internet's not letting you see it. So you'll have to watch the video of this, the recording later, okay?
Okay.
All right. What kind of lines are those where they make a right angle? Parallel, perpendicular, intersecting, or a
Perpendicular.
straight line? What do you say those are? What is it right there?
Perpendicular.
These are perpendicular. When you make a right angle, they're perpendicular. I've not used gray yet. Make it even stranger looking. What kind of angles do we have here? Or what kind of lines? Are they parallel lines, perpendicular lines, intersecting lines, or straight line?
Intercepting lines.
They're intersecting. Remember it said it made V's. It could be different size of V's, but they make V's in them. Now, the reason I changed this, because if I had it right here, they are intersecting, but they also are making right angles in theirs. So this one's different. So I wanted to make sure they didn't have the right angles in them. Okay, let me try orange now. I'll put them up here. All right, I've got two of them on there. You saw me put them on there. So are they parallel, perpendicular, intersecting, or straight lines?
Right.
Yeah, they're straight because they're on top of each other, aren't they? Okay. All right. So let's see if this is there. No, that was not there. We're going to play a little game. It's kind of like an activity online, and I thought I had it pulled up, but I don't. So let me go to my lesson plans and click on it here. This is a math game. Now look at this angle. Is this angle a little acute one, a right angle, an obtuse angle, or is it a straight line? Somebody tell me what to click.
Right.
It's a right angle. Remember how we said if they put a little square in them there, it looks like a little square? That's a
Right angle.
very big We have a right angle. So let's click at you. Let's see if you got help me get it right. Hey, yeah. High five. Now is this angle acute, right, obtuse, or straight? Think about if you had a piece of paper to set in there.
Obtuse.
It's a big obtuse. It goes wider than a corner of a piece of paper. Super, you helped me out. Now is this one acute, right, obtuse, or straight? Remember the clues they give you inside there. Would a piece of paper fit right in the corner there? And those
Right.
Yep, and that little square gives you a clue that it is a right angle. The other ones, they do curved lines, but when you see that square, that is a very big hint you have a right angle. Now, is this angle acute, right, obtuse, or straight? Little acute or big obtuse, right, or a straight line?
Obtuse.
It's a big obtuse. It's wider than the corner of a piece of paper. So you're going to click that. Nice work, everybody. Now, is this angle acute, right, obtuse, or straight?
Straight.
This is a straight line, isn't it? Nice work. Now, is this angle acute, right, obtuse, or straight? I always think of that piece of paper there. And is it inside what a corner of a piece of paper would be? So it's a little acute. Or is it wider than that piece of paper corner would be? Then it'd be obtuse. And it's not a straight line. We know that. So which one can it be?
Obtuse.
Looks like if I was to put a piece of paper in there, it'd go along this, and then the other side would go like that. So it's wider. It's obtuse. Nice work. Now, what about this one? Is it acute, right, obtuse, or straight?
Straight.
It's a straight line, isn't it? Correct. Oh, we got 3 more to go. Now, is this angle acute, right, obtuse, or straight? Notice what's in the corner. This one's got that square, not that curved line. So when you see that, that's a big clue of what kind of angle are we going to have. Are y'all still there?
I am.
Okay.
Right.
Right angle. Remember when you see that square, that's a big clue to a right angle. That's a big clue. So that's a right angle. 2 more to go. What about this one? Is it acute, right, obtuse, or straight line?
Right.
It's giving you a hint with that square. Right angle. Oh, is this one acute, right, obtuse, or straight?
Straight.
It's a straight line. Yeah.
Straight.
Perfect. You're an awesome math gamer. So you helped me be an awesome math gamer. Thank you all. I'm going to stop share right now. All right, and I'm going to stop recording.